Every 4 years, we're told the Winter Olympics are about unity, about peace, about sports bringing the world together. But that's the sales pitch. The reality? The Winter Olympics are a geopolitical chessboard, and the United States is one of the main pieces. In 1980, the US hockey team defeated the Soviet Union in Lake Placid. The miracle on ice. Most Americans remember it as an underdog story, but at the time, it was something much bigger. The Soviet Union had invaded Afghanistan. Nuclear tensions were high, and when those American players won, it wasn't just a game, it was ideological warfare played on ice. For Americans, it symbolized freedom defeating communism. For Moscow, it was a global embarrassment. The Olympics were never neutral. They were psychological warfare. Fast forward to 2014. Sochi, Russia. The most expensive Winter Olympics in history. Over $50 billion spent to showcase Russian strength. But behind the scenes, a state-run doping operation. Lab walls literally had hidden holes. Urine samples were swapped. Officials were involved. This wasn't rogue athletes. This was government-backed cheating. The fallout? Russia banned from competing under its own flag, forced to compete as Olympic athletes from Russia. Why does that matter to Americans? Because when state-backed programs manipulate the system, it destroys fair competition. And American athletes paid the price. Then came Beijing 2022. The US government announced a diplomatic boycott. Athletes went. American officials did not. Why? Because hosting the Olympics isn't just about sports. It's about global image control. China used the Winter Games to project technological dominance, mass surveillance systems, AI security, perfectly synchronized ceremonies. The message was clear: control, precision, power. But the boycott sent a different message. America wasn't willing to endorse it. The Olympics had become another front in the US-China rivalry, not with tanks, but with optics. Look at the medal table. It's presented as sport statistics, but it's political currency. When authoritarian governments win gold, it's framed as proof their system works. When America tops the board, it reinforces global leadership. Countries invest millions, sometimes billions, in state-backed athlete programs. Because gold medals aren't just metal, they're messaging. They influence perception, and perception shapes power. Here's the uncomfortable truth: athletes train their entire lives. But once they step onto that Olympic stage, they become national symbols. A gesture, a comment, a protest, and suddenly it's international news. The IOC says politics don't belong in sports, but when governments fund the training, host the events, and control the narrative, how can politics not be involved? The next winter, Olympics won't just be about skiing or skating. They'll happen in a world more divided than ever. Rising tensions with China, ongoing conflict involving Russia, economic instability, climate challenges, shrinking viable host cities. And the United States will once again step onto that stage, not just as a competitor, but as a global symbol. The Winter Olympics are not escaping politics, they're becoming one of its arenas. So here's the real question: should America treat the Winter Olympics as pure sport, or recognize it for what it is, a global power contest on ice? Comment below and subscribe to Global Decode, because the real story is never just the headline,